Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be building this beautiful portfolio website with Next.js and Sanity.io. So scrolling down, we got our project section where we can filter out through all of our projects. Next, we create the skill section to showcase all of our skills. Then we use Swiper.js for this nice auto play-in carousel for our testimonial section. Then we build out this contact form where we use email.js to handle our form submissions. So if we fill out this form and click on submit, the submission gets sent right to our email. Also, stick around at the end of the video. I'll be doing a quick Photoshop tutorial on how to do this hero image, so that way you can have your own image here instead of mine. So let's get started. Alright, so I got a fresh project open here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my terminal and I'm going to type in npx create next app at latest. And we will be using TypeScript in this project. ESLint, no. Tailwind, yes. Source directory, no. App router, yes. And last one is optional. I'm just going to say yes. Alright, and since we're here, we're just going to install another package. We're going to do an npm install react-icons. That one shouldn't take too long. And let's go ahead and start up our server. I'm doing npm run dev. And while that is loading up, let me just go ahead over to the browser. Go to localhost 3000. Let's go ahead and clean up some of these files. So we want to get rid of the favicon. Inside of the global CSS, we're just going to get rid of all of this underneath the tailwind stuff. And layouts, we're going to come back to that here in a second. Inside of the page, let's go ahead and just select all, delete, and let's go to export fresh page. And I'm just going to change this to home and export to home. Right, and now let's head back over to our layout, and we're actually going to use a different font. We're going to use Poppins. So instead of enter, we're just going to do Poppins, and we're going to change this to Poppins. Change this to Poppins. So the subset will be Latin, but we got to install the weights that we want. So right after this this Latin here, we're going to do a comma, and then we're going to do our weight. We're going to do weight 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then down here, just going to change this to Poppins and give that a save. And we can do our metadata if you want. We could just do I'm just going to do Antonio's portfolio. And then for the description, I'm just going to do full stack developer portfolio. All right, let's give that a quick save, and perfect. We got our font, and just like that, we can start our project. We can go ahead and get started on our Navbar. So inside of the root, we're going to make a folder, and we're going to call it components. All right, and it's going to make our Navbar component. Navbar got TSX, and let's export it so that way we can import it inside of our layout, so we can see our changes inside of layout. Right over top of our children. So we're going to render our Navbar. All right, give that a save, and we should see our Navbar right there. Perfect. All right, so head over to our Navbar, and the first thing we're going to do is make this a client component. So to do that, all I got to do is do use client at the top of the component. I'm going to do some imports. We're going to import link, and that's going to be coming from Next. We're also going to import useState from React. Let me just make some space here. Let me actually close this. Close that so we can have more space. And we're going to import two React icons. We're going to import fi menu and md close. So and these are coming from the first fi menu is coming from React icon / fi, and md close is coming from React icon / md. So go ahead and import those. All right, so next inside of the description, there'll be a GitHub gist, or you can head over to the GitHub repository and just copy over this code right quick. It's just an array of our nav links, just so that way we can map through them. Or you can pause the video. It's not too much. It's just an ID, name, and a route. So yeah, like I said, you can either pause the video right quick and just copy this over, or you can just head over to the GitHub repository and just copy it right quick. So now let's go ahead and set some state. We're going to do a const open mobile menu, and then a set open mobile menu. And this is going to be useState, and the default value will be false. All right. And let's go ahead and do our open mobile menu handler. We're going to do handle open mobile menu. And this is just going to just toggle our open mobile menu. So we'll just do set open mobile menu, and it's going to toggle open mobile menu. All right. And now let's go ahead and write some JSX. So we're going to do parentheses, and we're going to do a nav. And this is going to have a class name of with full, a top of 0, a z index of 99999. So there's a reason I had to do this, because we're using Particles.js, and I was having some issues with the Navbar showing over top of the hero section, so I had to do it this way. And we're gonna do a py of 5, and we also gonna do position relative. All right, so we shouldn't see anything inside here. Perfect. All right, and then we're gonna have a div in here, and this is going to have a class name of max width 1400 pixels, a mx of auto, flex, justify center, or between, sorry, item center, and then a width of 91%. All right. And inside of this div, this is where we're going to start our logo. So we're going to have a link, and the href for this is going to be home, I believe. So we're going to do pound, I'm going to do parentheses, pound, home. All right, let me scroll down some. And you can just put your name in here. I'm just going to do Antonio. And let's take a look right quick. We probably shouldn't see anything. Okay, Antonio, perfect. And actually, get rid of that. We're going to have H1 in here. And this is going to have a class name of text3xl, a text yellow 500, and then a font bold. All right, and now you can write your name. Take a look. Perfect. All right, and there's one thing that we forgot to do actually. So inside of the global CSS, let's go ahead and do our normal reset. So we're going to do a margin of 0, a padding of 0, and then a box size and border box. Okay, perfect. And since we're here, we could just do this too. We're going to do an HTML of scroll behavior smooth. All right, Let's go ahead and close out of that. Let me just open this sidebar up. It's kind of bothering me a little bit. B. All right. Let's head back over to our Navbar and let's go and finish this out. So link, and then underneath that link, underneath our logo, we're gonna have a UL, and this is going to have a class name of flex, a gap of 10. On max MD, it's going to be hidden, and then text white. We're not going to see this text right now, so let's actually change it to text black for now, just so that way we can see it. And in here, this is where we're going to map through our nav links. We're going to do parentheses, and we're going to do brackets, and we're going to do nav links dot map. And we're going to take in a link, and we're going to return a link, and that's the link tag from Next.js. Do href, and that's going to be link.route. And we can also add a key on here, which is going to be link.id. And then in between here, it's going to be li, and it's going to be our link.name. All right, let's take a quick look at that. Perfect. All right, our link's going to have a class name. All right, so make some space there. Our link's going to have a class name of hover underline, and then a hover text yellow 500, and then we're gonna add a transition, and then a duration of 500. Let's take a look at this. We hover, nice little effect. Perfect. Let me just drag this over some. All right, and so that's our nav links, and now we need to do our mobile menu. So right underneath this UL, we're gonna have a div, and it's gonna have a class name of MD hidden, text 3XO, and a cursor pointer, and also text white, but we're just gonna do text black for now. I'm gonna come back and change it once we add our hero section so that we can see it. And this div will also have our on click, our handle open mobile menu function. So we're gonna do on click, going to be handle open mobile menu. Perfect. And inside this div, we're just gonna do brackets. We're gonna do if it's open mobile menu. So if open mobile menu is true, we're gonna show MD close, which is our X icon. Else, we just want to show our FI menu, which is our hamburger menu. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna go to inspect, and I don't know why my dev tools is outside of the thing. All right, and I'm just gonna bring the screen size down. All right, perfect. When we click, as you can see, it goes to our X. Perfect. All right. And so underneath this div here, now we need to render our actual mobile menu. So we're going to do if mobile open mobile menu, do and we're going to do the short circuit method. So we're going to do UL, and this UL is going to have a class name of MD hidden, a BG of yellow 500, position absolute, top of 14, a right of 5, a PX of 4, a PY of 6, a text center, a rounded MD, position, flex call, a gap of 3, and also a shadow. I gotta scroll over some. This is shadow MD. All right, let's go ahead and render our nav links now in here. So we're gonna do brackets, and we can actually just copy over this here. Let's copy this over and paste it in here. All right, let's take a look. When we click, all right, and we don't want this hover effect here on these nav links. So let's take off this hover and this transition. I'll just take away this whole entire class name actually. All right, perfect. Come out. We got our menu. Nice. All right. Trying to think. Should we? All right. Perfect. All right. So now that the nav bar is done, that was pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie. The nav bar is complete. So now we can start our hero section, which is the best looking section. We're going to add Particles.js. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right. So the next project we're gonna install is Particles.js. So you can head over to Particles.js.org, and we're gonna scroll down to React. And if you guys want to just check this website out, they got a bunch of different animations you can use. It's really cool. But yeah, head over down to React, and it's gonna take you over to a GitHub, and you can just scroll down, and there's all the directions here how to configure it. And but we're just looking for the installation, because we're using TypeScript, so we're going to use this one here. It's npm install tsparticles/react and also tsparticles/engine. So that's the one we want. Get back over to my VS Code. I'm going to stop my server, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in that and let that install. Go ahead and start back up my server. And now that we have Particles.js and Particles engine, TS Particles engine and TS Particles React. I'm going to close out of that, and let's make a folder inside of our root, and it's going to be called lib. And inside here, this is where we're going to put our config file, our particles config. I'm going to do particles-config.ts. All right, and inside of the gist, or inside of the GitHub repository, you're gonna have to copy over this code and just paste it in here. It's really long. It's 595 lines of code, and then, like I said, it's just basically the config file for the particles. I changed up a few things in here, but yeah. So just copy over this code. All right. So now that we got our config file, we're gonna create a component inside of our components folder. It's gonna be called particles background.tsx. All right, and same thing. This is all inside the docs. We're just gonna paste it from either the GitHub repository. We are getting an error, so it says import load 4 TS particles. So maybe we just open up the terminal, close the server, and we're going to type in npm I TS particles. See if that get rid of that error. Let's go ahead and start back up the server. All right, perfect. So that got rid of that. So make sure you install TS particles as well. npm run dev. All right, perfect. So we got our config and we got our particles background. All right. So now let's go ahead and start our hero section. So we're gonna do components. We'll do hero.tsx. All right, and it's gonna be, we're gonna import image from Next. We're going to import our particles background, and we're gonna import some React icons. We're gonna import FA square Twitter, X Twitter. That's coming from React icon /FA6. And then we're importing 3 more icons: GitHub, FA Dev, FA YouTube, and that's coming from React Icon / FA. If you don't know what FA stands for, it stands for Font Awesome. So import link from Next. All right, those are all of our imports. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and import our hero section inside of our home page now, so that we can see our changes. So I'm just going to do hero like this. Give that a save, and we should see hero here instead of page. Well, let's give it a refresh. All right, perfect. All right, so inside of our hero component, we're gonna have a header, and this is gonna have an ID of home, and we're also gonna give this a class name of relative, height of fit, and a PY of 10. All right, and now after this, we're gonna render out our particles background, and I'm really hoping that this works. Let's give it a save, and we should see it. Yay! Nice, perfect. It's probably a little bit laggy on your screen. Well, not your screen, but the video that you're watching. My computer runs really slow, but it looks perfect when I'm looking at it. But when I'm recording, I tend to see like the frames drop and it kind of looks slower, but it looks nice. So before we continue, I say we head over to our Navbar and change our text to our stuff. So I believe it was here. We're going to change this to text white, and we're also going to change this to text white. Let's take a look. Perfect. All right, nice. Open up hero. All right, so right after the particles background, we have a div, and this div is gonna have a class name of relative, flex, justify between a max width of 1400 pixels, MX auto, item center, a height of full, a width of 91%, and on max MD, we're gonna do a flex cow. Right. After this div, we're gonna have another div. It's gonna have a class name of flex, flex cow, justify center, a text white, a flex of 1, max MD. We're gonna change the order to 2, and also on max MD, we're gonna do text center. All right, make some space here. All right, so let's go ahead and do our actually we're gonna have a h2 in here, and this is going to say, hi, I'm gonna put your name, Antonio, a full stack. All right. So you're just a full stack right now. And we're gonna do a class name of font bold, medium. We do a text of 4XL, and by default on mobile, we're gonna do a text of 3XL with a margin bottom of 2. Let's take a look at this. Perfect, right there. All right. After this H2, we're gonna have an H1, and this is gonna have a class name of XL, text non-XL. On large, we're gonna do a text of 8XL. On medium, we're gonna do a text of 7XL. And on lower screens, we're going to do a text of 6XL. And we're also going to change the text to yellow 500. Font bold. And a margin bottom of 5. Oh, we didn't put anything in there. Developer. There we go. Perfect. Alright. So after the H1, I have a span. And it's going to say class name of, this is going to have an MD of 3/4. And then we're going to have a margin bottom of 5. Alright. And inside of the span, it's just a small paragraph. I just did this here. Let me just copy and paste this over. I collaborate with various projects and entrepreneurs, providing expertise in full stack engineering. Need assistance with your project? ? All right. And after this, we'll have a link. And this link is going to take us to our contact form at the bottom of our page, href. And it's going to be contact. And in here we have a span with a class name of text yellow 500 underline, and then the text small. And in here it's going to say contact me. Contact me, and we use a HTML entity for this little arrow. So we're going to do the and symbol, the pound, and then we're going to do the numbers 8594 semicolon, and then space. Then save, sorry. All right, perfect. Yeah, contact me there. So the span that has our paragraph, we actually wanted to wrap around this as well. So let's get rid of that closing span, and we're gonna close it down here like that. All right, perfect. All right, so right underneath this span, I have a div, and it's gonna have a class name of flex, gap of 5, a text yellow 500, a text 2XL, a max MD. It's going to be justify center. All right, and in here we're just going to render out through all of our React icons that we imported. I'm going to just copy and paste these. So just the 4 React icons that we imported. Let's take a look. This background is really slowing up my computer. Sheesh. Okay. Now we're getting. All right, perfect. So we got our icons there. All right, so 2 closing divs down. We're gonna have another div, and it's gonna have a class name of flex 1, a justify end, max MD. We're gonna change the order to 1. So this is our image. And also on max MD, we're gonna do a margin bottom of 3. That's going to get our image. All right. So if you guys want to tune in for the ending of the video, I'm going to show you guys how to create the image that I created in Photoshop, so that way you guys can have your own image. Obviously you don't want me on your portfolio website, but for now you guys can use my image. So just go to the GitHub repository, or there's a file inside of the description with all of the site images. So just go ahead and just download that file, so that way we can just breeze through the project, and that way you can change up at the end. You can change up everything you need to change. All right, so I downloaded all of the images. So we got CSS little icon, we got GitHub, got the header for the hero section, and also we got the shape that I use. So this is important, so just make sure you guys download this, because like I said, I'm going to do a Photoshop tutorial at the end, show you guys how to get the image of yourself like this one. So make sure you guys at least download the shape if you guys don't want to download the rest of the images. So yeah, so we got our image folder. So now inside of this image tag, we can do a source and we'll do slash header dash image .png, and we're going to do a width of 450, height of 450, and then we're going to do a row of image, give it an ARIA label of Antonio image, and we also give it an alt of Antonio image. And last but not least, we're going to give it a class name of MD. We're going to do a justify self end, and then on max MD we're going to change the width to 96, not 96 pixels. If you hover over it, it's really 84 pixels. I'm gonna save that, and let's take a look at this. Let me make sure everything. So apparently our image is on this side. That is weird. There's something we did wrong here. Let's see what we did wrong here. Max, maybe there's a space. Maybe that was it. There we go. So there was a space there. Let's see. I think we are good. Yeah, I think we're good. On our hero section, nice and responsive. Scroll down. Still looks good there. Still looks good. Perfect. We got our mobile menu. Nice. Come out. Text change to nice. All right. So yeah, our hero section is complete now. So now let's go ahead and do our project section underneath. But actually, before we do that, let's actually make our, I don't know why this is here. Let's actually make our custom hook we're going to be using for our scroll effect for our Navbar. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so one small mistake. As you can see, it says MD. I just put 3/4. We actually got to do width dash 3/4 and give that a save. And I should change the width of this box just to make it a little bit smaller. It looks better like that. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and close out of all this stuff, and we're gonna create a folder inside of our root, and it's gonna be called hooks. I'm gonna close out of this. I'm gonna create hooks. And in here, we're going to create a custom hook. It's going to be called useScroll.tsx. So the good thing about making these hooks, in my opinion, is that once you upload your code to GitHub, you can always just go back and just copy over the custom hook that you created. For example, I've been using the same, I created a use menu active hook where it makes the menu links active, and it's really easy to use. We're not going to use it in this project, but I use it in damn near all my projects, and all I got to do is go to my GitHub and copy over the code and just paste it in here. That way you don't got to keep rewriting it all over and over again. So in this case, we're going to create a useScroll custom hook. And that way, whenever we start scrolling, the navbar sticks to the top of the screen, and it just looks better like that. So we're going to import useEffect. And we're also going to import useState. and it's going to be from React. Right. I don't know why I didn't get the. I'm going to export const use scroll effect. Alright, let's go ahead and set some state. We're going to do a const is scrolling, then set is scrolling, set is scrolling. I'm going to set that to use state, and by default is going to be false. Alright, so we're going to do a use effect. Alright, and we're going to do a const handle scroll. And that's going to return us set is scrolling to window. So once you do a dot, you get access to a bunch of stuff. I haven't used probably 90% of this stuff. But one thing I do use is scroll Y. So that's scroll top, bottom, and we want it to be greater than 0. You can play around with this number. I believe it goes up to 1000. It's like a weird number. I think it's like 1390 something. If I'm not mistaken, I forget. But we're gonna do 0, so basically when it's 0, as soon as we start scrolling, that's when our effect is gonna fire. So after this, we're gonna do it. We gotta add an event listener to our window. So we're gonna do window.add event listener, and we're listening out for a scroll. And add event listener takes 2 parameters. So it takes scroll, scroll, and it also takes a function. We're gonna do a handle scroll. We're gonna do a return. And we need to remove the window, the event listener. So we're gonna do window dot remove event listener. Do scroll, and then handle scroll. All right. And since we're using use effect, we gotta make sure we do our dependency array. And we just want it to fire once the component mounts. All right. And then after this, we just want to just return is scrolling like that. Okay, perfect. So that is our useScroll scroll effect custom hook that you can use in all your projects if you want. I'm definitely gonna start using it. So let's close out of that. And now we're gonna head over back to our Navbar, because we gotta refactor some of our code and render it out conditionally if we're scrolling. So first, let's go ahead and import our useScrollEffect. All right, and we're going to do right underneath the state. We're going to do a const is scrolling, and that's going to equal our useScrollEffect like that. All right, so now we can render some stuff out conditionally. We're going to render out the this nav. So we want width full, we want top 0, we want to keep the z index. PY, we actually want a PY of 5. I don't know why it's PY 6. I'm going to save that. And so let's get rid of relative. And let's actually copy over. Let's get rid of these quotes. We're going to have to do backticks. Let's put this inside of a bracket. We're also going to do backticks like that. And now we can render some stuff out conditionally. So we're going to do $, brackets, we're going to do is scrolling. So if it's scrolling, we want the styles to be fixed, a top of 0, BG of white, a shadow large, shadow LG, and we also can give it a transition, and we're gonna do a duration of 500. All right, so we need our else. So else, we want the style to be relative. All right, so let's take a quick look at this, and hopefully this works. So once we start scrolling, as you can see, it pops up. Nice. Perfect. All right, so but our text, it's still white, so we gotta actually render those out conditionally as well. So we're gonna do a UL here. So let's get rid of text white. Let's get rid of these double quotes because we gotta do backticks. Do brackets, backticks. And now let's do $ brackets is scrolling. We want the text to be black. Else, we want the text to be white. Give that a save. Perfect. All right. So there is one more I believe we got to do, which is down here. Because I believe let's take a look at this. So for our mobile menu here, once we start scrolling, as you can see, our mobile menu icon isn't showing. So we want that to show. So right, where is that? Down here. So this div here. Let's get rid of text white. Let's get rid of the double quotes, brackets, backticks, and $ is scrolling. We want the text to be yellow 500. Else, we want the text to be white. Scroll. Nice. Perfect. All right, so that is it for that. Now we can start our project section. We're gonna have to install Sanity.io, and so let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so before we install Sanity.io, we're actually going to create 3 components right quick and just export them. So inside the components folder, we're going to do a portfolio.tsx, and let's export it. And then we're going to make another component, and it's going to be ProjectFilter.tsx. And let's export this. And last but not least, we're going to do a ProjectCard.tsx. So we want to render our portfolio component on our home page. So let's head over to our home page component. And we're going to render it right underneath here. I might do a fragment. I'm not sure if I have to or not. Let's see. So we're going to do portfolio. I'm gonna have to put fragments. All right, let's do fragments. All right, and this is going to be coming from import projects from @/components/project. Oh, it's portfolio. That's why it didn't work out. It's portfolio. There we go. Thought my computer was dying out. All right, projects, we can remove that one. All right, let's give that a save. And as you can see, we can little issue here. Let's refresh. Oh, the site isn't on. All right, let's do it npm run dev, and I'm gonna close out of that. Give that a refresh. So while that is loading up, we're actually gonna head over to Sanity. Let's open up your browser, then Sanity.io. Yeah, just sign in. So, and then click on start building. And if you have an account, or once you create an account, you're gonna go to get to this page and just click on create new project, and it's gonna give you a code. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and head back over to our terminal. We probably shouldn't have started our server now that I think about it. I'm gonna paste that in there. And it's gonna ask us a few questions. So if this is your first time using Sanity, it's gonna make you sign in, but I'm already signed in, as you can see. So it says it looks like you already have a Sanity account. So I'm gonna create a new project, and my project name is just gonna be Portfolio YouTube. All right, and okay, use the default data set. I'm gonna do yes. So it's asking, would you like to add configuration files for Sanity project inside the Next.js folder? I'm gonna say yes. We are using TypeScript. This is a really important one. Would you like an embedded Sanity Studio? Choose yes. And would you like to use Next.js app directory? Yes. And it's just asking the route for it. I'm gonna say just press enter. And we want a clean project with no predefined schemas. And would you like to add the ID and data set? Just choose yes. All right, so let that install. It might take a little bit. All right, so it has been completed. So I was getting an error when I tried to start up the server. I'm not sure if you guys are getting the same error, but just in case, I'm just gonna go over it. So this is the error that I got whenever I tried to start up my server. It's a fatal error, and it's inside the tsconfig.json file. And it says string literal with double quotes expected. So when I went to this file, this wasn't in quotes. It was just like that. So all I did was just put quotes on it, and now I'm able to start up my server. I'm not sure why that happened, but if you guys ran into that issue when installing Sanity, just head over to the config file and just put that in quotes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out now. Let's go over a few things that Sanity installs. So we got our Sanity Studio, which is this here, and this is a route. So we can go to localhost 3000/studio, and it's going to take us to our Sanity Studio. And that's where we're actually going to put all our projects in. I'm going to refresh that. All right, so we can actually close out of Sanity IO for now. And let's just clean this up a bit. Always get rid of these comments. All right, so we also got a Sanity folder, and this is our schema, our env, and our client, and our image .ts files. So we're actually going to create a new file inside of this Sanity folder, and it's going to be called project.ts. All right, that's all right, project.ts. All right, perfect. And inside of this project, this is where we're going to basically create our schema. So we're going to do an export default brackets. We got to give it a name. It's going to be project. We're also going to give it a title, which is going to be project. We also give it a type. It's going to be a document. And now we got to give it our fields. So do fields. And this is going to be an array. And these are our fields. So our projects that we're going to input through our Sanity Studio is going to take, I'm just going to copy this. It's going to take a name, and it's going to, well, a title. It's going to be name. Type is going to be string. And then also it's going to take image. So make sure you do a comma. It's going to take an image. And then it's going to take a URL. And then last but not least, we're going to do a category. So we're going to give it category so that way we can filter through them out. I'll paste that. And that's going to be a type array. And we got to do this of, and it's type string for each category. So we got to, let me just go back over it. So we got our name, we got our image, URL, and our category. All right, so we can actually close out of this and then head back to our schema.ts. Open it up here, and here we just got to import that project.ts. Import project from project. And for types, we just got to do project. That's it. All right. So that's it for this file. We can actually close out of that now. Now we're going to head over to our client.ts. So at the bottom here, what I did a const builder, and that's going to equal image URL builder, and that's going to be coming from our Sanity image URL / lib types builder. And then this takes in a client, takes in our client. I wonder why it's giving an error. All right, and then we're going to do an export function URL for and this is going to be a source, which is going to be a string, and then we're going to return our builder.image source. So this image URL builder, it's not supposed to be uppercase. It's image like that. So image, let's get rid of this. Import image URL builder. And this is going to be coming from at Sanity / image -URL. All right, hopefully that works. So we are getting error here. Build, oh, forgot the D there, builder. All right, perfect. All right, so that is our client TS. We can close out of that now. And now what we're going to do is head over to our home page, and we're going to fetch our projects. We haven't created our projects yet. Actually, let's head over to, so we're going to do to localhost 3000, and then we're going to do /studio. All right, this is going to take some time to load because our first time going to it. So just give that a second. So let's go ahead and fetch our projects now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to import client. All right, so now we're going to make a async function. I'm going to do async function get data, and then we're going to do a const query. So all this is inside of the docs. I'm going to do const query, and we got to do backticks. We're going to do a star. We're going to do brackets underscore type. That's going to equal to project. All right. And then still inside the brackets, we're going to do, still inside the backticks. So we taking in a name, we're getting an image, and we get in our URL, and we also get in our category. All right, and after this, we're going to do a const data. That's going to equal await client dot fetch, and we're fetching the query. All right, and then last but not least, we just need to return our data. All right, so now we essentially have our projects fetched, but we don't have any projects created. So once you head over to Sanity Studio for the first time, it's going to give you this little warning or error message that says to access your content, you have to configure the course. I don't know. There we go. Need to add the following URL as the course origin. So just click on continue, and it's going to open Sanity in another tab, and you just click on add course and click on continue. All right, so now just give it a second, and it's going to make us sign in again, I think. I'm not sure. All right, and we can just sign in with GitHub. All right, perfect. And we should see project here, which we have. So now we can create our projects. Obviously you will want to use your own projects, but like I said, for now, inside of the public folder or of images that you downloaded, you could just use my projects for now. That way we can just get the project completed, and I guess you can just refactor everything at the end and just put in your own projects. Take screenshots of your projects and make them look nice. All right, so we're gonna add one for the name. I'm just gonna do art, the art spot, the art spot. All right, and for the image, you can just drag over. I made these little thumbnails for my projects. So if you guys don't remember this one, this was the full stack art gallery website that I made a while back. And for the URL, I'm just gonna probably just type in any URL for now. And just do that one. And for the category for this one, I'm gonna choose React. We can add more. We're gonna do Tailwind. And I believe I use SQL in this one. All right. We don't need any more. And click on publish. If it stopped glitching out on me, what the hell? Oh, it's probably doing it because of my. That's hilarious. So it's doing that because of our header, our navbar. That is hilarious. So what we can do is this. Head over to our, and I was actually thinking about doing this because of I just don't think it should start right away anyway. What we can do is change this to, let's just change it to 400 for now and give that a save. So this is inside of our useScroll hook, and we should be able to scroll now, maybe a little bit more. Let's do 700. Give that a save. I gotta refresh. Yeah, let's refresh. All right, now it's working. Yeah, so just keep that at 700. We'll come back and configure that here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and publish this. All right, perfect. And what we can do is actually, I say we go ahead and complete the project filter, the project card, and also the portfolio, and then we'll add the rest of our projects because we got one for now. So we can just get one looking good. We'll know that they all will look good. So or actually we probably should add 3. Yeah, let's actually add 3. So I'm just going to add another one, and this is going to be Imagine. You guys can, I'll probably just skip through this. All right guys, so I kind of went over, I added 7, and the reason why I added 7 because we're actually gonna have a show more button, and I kind of want to add the functionality to that as well while we work on these components. So we're gonna have 6 projects showing, and then we're gonna have a show more button, and when it's clicked, it's gonna show more projects. So I just went ahead and added 7 projects. You guys can pause the video and add all your projects if you want. I highly recommend either making little thumbnails like this, or you can just take a screenshot of you know, the actual project, and that should work as well. So we can actually close out of Sanity Studio now, and we got our project here. Everything is still looking nice, and let's just want to make sure. Let's actually refresh because we changed the number on that useScroll. Just want to see where it's coming in a little too late. So let's actually change it to like 200 now, or yeah, I think like let's try 200. All right, I think that is good. So once we hit the project section, that's when it's going to show up. All right, I think that's really good. So let's keep that. Let's keep it at 200. So inside of our page, we actually have to send over our projects through with props to our portfolio. So to do this, we're going to do a const projects, and that's going to equal await, and then our get data function that we just made. So as you can see, we're getting an error because we're using await and we don't have an async function. So what I'm going to do is actually just do I'm going to do an export default async function and it's going to be home. And now we can actually get rid of this export default down here. We could have did it another way as well, but this is totally fine. Get rid of this there. All right, perfect. And let's go ahead and send over our props. New projects, and that's going to equal projects. All right, I see the error. We forgot to add quotes right there. So it's going to save that and let that refresh. So let's head over to our portfolio component, start whipping this thing up. So first things first, we're going to make this a use client. And we're going to import use state from React, make some space there. We're also going to import our project filter and then our project card, make some space. All right, so remember we sent over the projects through props, so we got to make sure we take in these props. We're going to take in projects. And we will get a TypeScript error, so let's go ahead and get rid of that now. We're going to do an interface, project, and we got a name, which is going to be a string. We got an image. I don't know, for some reason, every time I do interface, my enter button, we gotta like press it twice. We're gonna do image, which is going to be a string, and then we got our URL, which is going to be a string. All right, and now let's go ahead and set our types now. So portfolio, we're going to do a react.fc, and then we're going to do brackets, brackets projects, and that's going to equal our project. But if we keep it like that, it seemed to be working, but we should, because it's going to be an array, so we should add an array there. All right, cool. So we got our projects, we got our type set, and now what we need to do is, I say we set some state. So let me bring this up there. It's going to set some state, so we're going to do a const active category and then a set active category. That is going to equal use state, and the default value is going to be all. Okay, and then next we're going to do a const filter and then a set filter, and that's going to be use state, and the default value of that is just going to be an empty array. All right, and we can set some types for this as well, just so we can prevent errors. We'll do that here in a second. We're going to do a const visible projects and then a set visible projects. The word is so like confusing. Projects, and then we're going to do a use state, and the default value for this, you could change this if you want. I just want to show 6 at a time. All right, so let's go ahead and do some TypeScript stuff. So when this is a string, so we do string here. All right, and for this one, since this is our array that we're going to be mapping to, with, and we're mapping through our projects, we're going to make sure that we set this to projects, like that, and that is an array. So make sure you close it like that, and then this one obviously is a number. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and make our load more projects function, and this is the function that we're going to add to our button, our show more button. So we're going to do a load more projects, and then we're just going to set visible projects. Set visible projects, make some space here. So it's going to take in our prev, and then it's just going to return our prev plus 6, like that. All right, and you can make this like prev projects just so it can be so it can be more readable. Prev projects like that. that's all. So you just taking in previous projects and you just adding 6 to it. And like I said, you can change this as well. If you don't want to, so we're starting out with 6. If you don't want to load 6 more, you can actually just change this to like 4 if you want. Actually, I think I'm gonna keep it at 4 actually. All right, let's go ahead and get some styling done. I'm just gonna get rid of all of this, and we have a div. First thing we're gonna do is give it an ID of projects and a class name of with full, height of fit, a PY of 10, position relative, and a BG of white. All right, and then we're gonna have another div. I'm gonna give this a class name of max width, 1400 pixels, MX auto, and then a width of 91%. All right, I spelled auto wrong. All right, and it's going to do we're going to give it a span. So inside of this span, it's just going to say projects like that. And we can style this up a bit. I did class name BG yellow 500, a PX of 2, a text XL, a font of extra bold. I'm gonna give it a border, uppercase, and then a rounded MD, and also a margin bottom of 5. Take a look. Nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and add a div around that, and we're just gonna give this a class name of flex, justify center, and also that should be it. All right, so now it should be centered. Perfect. All right, so right underneath this div here, right underneath the span, so span, closing div, right underneath here, this is where we're gonna have our project filter. All right, and we're gonna send it over a bunch of props. I'm just gonna copy this. Well, it's only 4, but it's not that much. So we're gonna send it over our set filter, and that's just set filter. We're gonna send it over our active category. We're gonna send it over our set active category, and we're also gonna send it over our projects. All right, we should see it there. So we got our project filter there. All right, and then right underneath this project filter, this is where we're about to render out our projects. But before we do, we're gonna add a div and a class name. We're gonna do a grid. On small screens, we're gonna do a grid cal2. On medium screens, we're gonna do a grid cal3, and we're also gonna do a gap of 10. All right. So you're probably thinking we're going to map through our projects that we're receiving from props, but we're actually going to map through our filter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do filter dot slice. So we're slicing this because we only want to show 6 projects. We got 7 inside of our sanity, so but we only want to show 6. So we're going to do slice. We want the slice to start at 0, and we want it to end at visible projects. And if you guys remember, visible projects is set to 6. Okay, so dot slice visible projects, and then now we're going to map through this. We're going to do dot map double parentheses. I'm going to take in a project and also an index. Let's do our return. All we're going to return is our project card. All right, and our project card takes some props. So the key is going to be index, name is going to be our project, dot name, our image, which is going to be our project dot image, and last but not least, our URL, which is going to be our project dot URL. All right, perfect. And let's take a quick look at this very quick. All right, so yeah, we shouldn't show anything. All right, so right underneath this div here, this is where we're gonna have our button show. So we only want the button to show if our visible projects is less than our filtered.length. So if, for example, if we have just four projects, we don't want the show more button to show because our visible projects is set to 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to do visible projects. I don't feel like I'm spelling this wrong. Okay, because I am. Visible projects. There we go. So we want it to be less than our filter length, and we're gonna do the and. So we're doing. Hold on. Yep. And we're gonna return a div with a class name of text center and a margin top of 4, and it's just going to be a button with a class name of BG yellow 500, a PY of 2, PX of 4, a rounded MD, a font bold, and a margin top 10. All right, and it's going to say show more. So let's go ahead and just add our on click to this anyway. So our on click is going to be on a button. So on click, and it's going to be our load more projects function that we made. We can also give this an ARIA label. Really trying to practice this accessibility. I'm hoping to master it one of these days. I still got a bunch to learn. I was told that's one thing that really set you aside from a bunch of developers is learning accessibility. So I've been really trying to study it a little bit more. So our portfolio component is done. I said we go ahead and do our project filter now, and here we're gotta make this a use client. Use client, and we're going to import useEffect. We're taking in our set filter. We're taking in our active category. We're taking in our set active category. And we also taking in our projects. All right, so I say we go ahead and get rid of these TypeScript errors. So this interface is going to be a little bit confusing. So we're going to do an interface, and I'm just going to name this project filter props. All right, so our set filter is going to be type react.dispatch. All right, so you can't just leave it like that. We got to make sure we're going to do brackets like that. And it's going to be react dot set state action bracket like that. I'm going to do project, and it's going to be an array. So hopefully did I do this right? Project. Oh, okay, we forgot to add another one like that. And it's going to be the same thing for our set active category as well. So, but our active category is just a string. All right. And then our set active category, and like I said, it's going to be the same thing as this one, but instead of project, it's going to be here. We're going to do a string. All right. And then last but not least, our projects going to be our project, like that, which we didn't make yet. So we're actually gonna have two interfaces, and it's gonna be the same thing as our other interface, but I believe our other one we didn't have category in it. We gotta make sure we add category to this one. So this interface is going to be project, name string, image string, URL, and then category, which is going to be could be null, so make sure you add or undefined, make sure you add a question mark there, and string. All right, perfect. And now it's going to set our props. Set our types for our props. So we're gonna do React.sc filter props, like that. All right, perfect. So I got rid of those errors. And now let's go ahead and work on this. So we're gonna do a useEffect, scroll down some. All right, so we're gonna do if our active category is triple equal to all. We want to return our set filter, and it's going to take in our projects. All right, and we're just going to return after that. All right, and then underneath this if statement, we're going to do a cons filter. That's going to equal to projects dot. So I'm hoping I get the, okay, so we do get the autocomplete for this. So filter project, and we're just going to return our project dot. It feels so nice to get these autocompletes. Project dot category dot includes, and it's going to include our active category. All right, nice. And after this, we're just going to set our filter to filtered. All right, and since we're using useEffect, we got to make sure we do our dependency array. So we don't want this to only run whenever the component mounts. We want it to actually run every time active category changes. All right, now we can get our categories. So you can either head over to the GitHub gist in the description, or you can head over to the GitHub repository. At this point, you probably should have the repository open inside of another tab. So here is just our categories. You can change these around to fit your needs. I just did all Next, React, Vanilla, Mongo, Tailwind, Prisma, and SQL, and I gave them labels as well. So yeah, so make sure you guys make a categories array like that. You can pause the video, or you can just head over to the GitHub and copy it. So we're gonna have a div here, and we're gonna have a class name of flex, gap of 8, my of 10, item center, a flex wrap, and a justify center. All right, and now it's going to map through our categories. So we have a categories map. It's going to take in a category. All right, and we're going to return a button. All right, let me scroll down some. All right, so this button is going to have let's give it a key first. Key, and it's going to have a category, that key. And it's also going to have a class name of, we're actually going to render some stuff out conditionally. So make sure we do brackets here, backticks. So by default, the text is going to be gray, 500. All right, and then do space. So we just make some space here. Then we're going to do $, brackets, and we're going to do, so if active category triple equals to our category dot key, we want the styling to be our border yellow 500, and then a border bottom of 2. All right, and we need our else statement. So else, we can either do null here, or you can just do empty quotes like that. All right. Oh, we got our project cards down there. Nice. So now we need our on click on this button. So we're gonna do an on click. And we're just going to set our active category to our category.key. And in between here, all we need to do now is do our category.label and give that a save, and we should have our categories. Hopefully. Let's see. Nice. We got them. So once we click on one, as you can see, dude, that thing is so weird. All right, we might take that off for now. It is acting really buggy right now. Once we add our project cards and stuff, I think it probably should work. If not, we can always remove it. In the final project, I don't remember that happening, so there's something's up. All right, so our project filter is complete now. So we can close out of this, and we still got that error inside of portfolio because we didn't create our project card yet. So let's head over to our project card and let's knock this out right quick. So this is going to be a use client, and we're going to import a URL for, it's coming from our Sanity lib client folder or file. We're also going to import image. We're going to import use state, and last but not least, we're going to import a React icon, which is Leah external link alt silent, and that's coming from React icons/lia. All right, so our project card does take in some props. It takes in a name, it takes in image, and also take in our URL. All right, and what we can do here for the types, we can do this, and then we could just define them in here. So name, string, image, string, and then URL, string. You could have did probably could have did an interface as well. All right, so let's go ahead and set some state here. We're gonna do a const is hovered, and then a set is hovered, and that's going to equal use state, and by default false. All right, let's go and write some JSX. So we're going to do a div, and this div is going to have a class name of shadow md, a cursor pointer, and position relative. We're going to add on mouse leave, and this is going to be, it's going to set is hovered to false, and then we're going to do on mouse enter, and this is going to set is hovered to true. Oh, I put on mouse events. Dude, it is late. It is late, guys. It's going on 12 o'clock. I am tired of knocking out this component, and we're going to finish this tomorrow. All right, and so we're going to do an image. So the source is going to be URL for and it's going to take in an image, our image, and it's going to be .url like that. So we might get an error. Actually, I know we will get an error, but let's just finish this up right quick and do backticks. Our alt can just be name, image, like that. And then we need to define a height, which is going to be 800. And then our width, which is going to be 800. All right. give that a save, and like I said, we will get an error here. Okay, there we go. I was wondering, we didn't, I thought it might have updated it or something. So let's head over to our next config file, and here, so it used to be, I forgot what you just added domains like this, but I believe that's deprecated now. Or I think you'd added images, and then you do domains, something like that. That's what we used to do, but that doesn't work anymore. Domains, yeah, see, like, it's deprecated. All right, so now the new way to do it is images. I honestly don't know why they keep changing stuff up like this. Remote patterns, your brackets, and in here we're gonna do more brackets. We're gonna get a protocol, and the protocol is going to be HTTPS, and then we gotta give it a host name, which is going to be cdn.sanity.io. Normally this is on the error, so this right here, the cdn.sanity.io. You don't need the whole entire thing. Let's give that a save, and we should see our images now. So right underneath this image, we're going to render something out conditionally. So we're going to do is hover, and we're going to return a link. So the reason why I'm using the A tag is because we want this link to, it's going to be an external link. I was told you should only use next link if you're routing within, you know, the website, but if it's an external link, definitely use the A tag. All right, and href for this one is going to be URL, and we got to give it a, we can also give it a target of _ blank. You guys don't know what this is. This is basically it opens the link up in another tab instead of the same tab. All right, and we're gonna give this a div, and it's gonna have a class name. Let's make sure we see our images. Perfect. Oh, they look nice. Yeah, that thing is so buggy. We're gonna have to change that, guys. All right, class name. Let's actually change it right quick. Hooks. useScroll. I think 200 is a little bit too much. Let's do like 100 maybe. All right, I'm gonna keep it like that for now. All right, project cart. All right, so is hover. We're gonna do a BG of yellow, 500. So I'm gonna change the opacity. So make sure you do a slash. That's going to be 80. A PY of 1, PX of 3, and give it a position absolute. Width of full, the top of 0, flex, justify center, item center, and we also can give it a transition opacity, and it's going to be a duration of 500, and then we're going to give it an opacity of 100, and we're also going to do a group hover, and that's going to be opacity 0. All right, so in this div we're going to have a h3, and this is going to have a class name of text center, a text black, a text 2xl, flex, a gap of 1, item center, and then a font thin. All right, and in here it's going to say checkout project. All right, and right underneath, oh, checkout project, and right underneath here we can render our React icon. Save that. All right. Whoa. All right, we must have forgot something. It's not width full or height full. Height, yeah, we forgot height full on here. Save that, and now it should switch to height full. But then again, I really like that, really like what we just had, I'm not gonna lie. All right, nice. And perfect. So our show more button isn't showing. All right guys, so the reason why it's not showing the show more button, because I miscounted. I only added 6 projects. I meant to add 7. So let's go ahead and add another project. We'll publish that and we can close out of this. And then we're gonna give our project a refresh. And so it's not popping up. So I had this issue before. So to fix this, what we're gonna do is head over to our page, our home page where we're fetching our data. And right over top of this async function, our get data, we're gonna do an export const dynamic, and it's going to be force dash dynamic. All right, now all we gotta do is save, and now we're gonna give this page a refresh. All right, perfect. And then when we click show more, and it shows the extra one. Nice. All right, so now we need to work on the skill section. So inside of the components, we're going to create 2 components. I'm gonna create one. It's gonna be progress bar .tsx skills.tsx. We're gonna export progress bar as well, and let's go ahead and import the skill component right underneath this project. All right, I'm gonna save that. So again, inside of the description, there will be a gist with skills. Obviously you want to add your own skills, but just gonna add an array of skills that I made. And I also have icons for these inside of the public folder. We got the CSS icon here, and we got like HTML, MongoDB. And what I just did an array, got the skills, we got an icon path, we got a title, and we got a percentage. So if you guys want to pause the video, just make your own skills. Definitely recommend doing that. And for the icons, I went to, so if you have a skill that's not on here, you can head over to, I believe it was icon hunt I use, or HTML icon. I believe this is what I use, icon hunt. Let's see, HTML. Yeah, so you could just go here and just download it, download PNG, and yeah, so just head over here and just download them if you have a skill that's not listed. All right, so we got our skills, and we need to import our progress bar. Just going to import that. Import progress bar from / progress bar. All right. So down here, let's go ahead and start styling it up. We'll have a section. And this section is going to have an ID of skills with a class name of with full height of fit, a px of 40 pixels, a py of 20, relative, I'm going to do a bg of gray 100. All right. And inside of this section, we're gonna have a div. It's gonna be our normal little container. Actually, this one isn't it. This is for our section title, like this here. So we can actually go and copy that. So head over to portfolio, scroll up, and just copy this. We could have made this a reusable component, but it's fine. Skills. And I'm gonna put it right up in here, and then just change this to skills. All right, let's take a look. Perfect. All right, and right underneath this div, we're gonna have another div with a class name of max width, 1400 pixels, and an mx of auto, grid, medium screens is going to be grid cows 2, and on medium and up screens we're gonna have a gap of 10. All right, and let's go ahead and map through our skills. We have skills that map. I'll take in a skill and also an index, and we're going to return a div. Let's go ahead and give that div our key of index, and we're going to just return our progress bar, and we're going to send it over our skills. We could just use the spread operator and just do skill like that. Perfect. So we got 6 skills and we got 6 progress bars. All right, so let's head over to the progress bar and let's complete this. So we're going to import image from Next, and we're also going to import, actually that's it, that should be all the imports. Let's go ahead and get our props, make some space here. So we're taking in a title, taking in a percentage, and we also taking in icon path. All right, and let's go ahead and set our types. So title is a string and percentage is a number, and icon path is a string. All right, let us save, and now let's start styling this up. All right, so I have a div with a class name of margin bottom 10. And then another div in here with a class name of flex item center margin bottom of 2, and then a gap of 1. All right, and then inside this div we have another div with a class name of font medium, a text of gray 700. And in this div, we're gonna have our title. Let's take a look, make sure everything is working properly. Not sure why it's all the way on this side. We have to fix that. It don't seem to be lined up with this. You can see that? So we're gonna see what the problem is there. Let's just go ahead and finish styling this up. After this div, this is where we're gonna have our image. I believe I was having issues with the Next.js image tag. Like it was just blurry. But we can try it out again. So we can do image, and then the source is going to be our icon path, and the height I was aiming for 60 pixels, and the width aiming for 60, and then the alt can just be we could just do brackets, backticks, and $, do like name, oh, I forgot to do name icon, like that. All right, give that a save, and let's see if this works. So when I was using the Next.js image tag, which is blurry, so I just went with the, all right. Okay, so maybe if we give this a class name of like width 7, height 7. I think if we do that, it should override the width and height of the image tag. All right, perfect. See, it just still look a little blurry. So if I change this to image like that, just the regular image. Let's see. Maybe I'm just seeing things. So I guess we can keep it just image from Next, and just keep it like this. Just keep this class name on it. All right. And let's see. So right underneath the image, actually underneath this div here, I have another div, and I have a class name of relative and a padding top of 1. All right. And in this div, we have another div with a class name of flex, margin bottom of 2, item center, and a justify between. All right. And now we need to work on our percentage. So what we're gonna do is we can have a div and have a span in here. This is going to be our percentage. So we're going to do brackets, backticks, and then percentage. Percentage. That. And make sure we add a little percentage. And we're going to have a class name on here of text small, a font of semi-bold, inline block, uppercase, a rounded of full, and a text gray 700. We might take off that rounded full. I believe at first I had a background on these percentages, but now there's no background. I don't see the point of having this rounded full here, so we can get rid of that. We can actually probably get rid of uppercase as well. All right, and span. So 2 closing divs down. We have another div, and we're gonna have a class name of flex call. And here we're gonna have a div with a class name of width full, a BG grade 300, and a rounded of full. And now it's time for our actual progress bar. So we're gonna have a div, and this div is going to have a class name of height 2, a rounded full, and a BG of yellow 500. BG yellow 500. All right, and here's the trick when you're doing progress bars. All you got to do is we're gonna add an inline style here. We're gonna do style and do double brackets, and we're gonna do a width, not windows. Oh, what? Oh, I just opened up something. What did I just do? A width, and our width is going to equal our percentage. We're gonna do backticks, $ brackets, and then percentage, like that. And we can do the little percentage. All right, let's give that a save, and we're gonna take a look at this. Nice, perfect. All right, let's head over to skills, and I want to see why it's not lining up. Maybe because, so in this div here where it says max width 1400 pixels, let's add a width of 91%. Like that. Yep. A little bit. I think because we have, do we got a PX? Okay, now I see it. We got a PX of 40 pixels here. Let's get rid of that. And let's save. Alright, perfect. Now it's lined up. Nice. Alright, nice. So now we need to work on our testimonial section, and we're going to add Swiper.js for that. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so inside of the components, we're going to create 2 more components. We're going to do testimonial.tsx and go ahead and export it. And then we're going to create another component, and it's going to be testimonial card. And let's go ahead and add testimonial component to our homepage. So right under skills, we need to install Swiper.js. So we're going to do an npm I Swiper. Go ahead and install that, and then we can start back up our server. While that's loading, let's head over to our testimonial page. All right, so head over to the GitHub repository, and there's an array of testimonials that you can copy and paste it here. I just copy and paste the same exact one. We just got name, work, and review, just lorem. So obviously you will want to switch these out with some actual reviews, or you can fake them if you want. So we're gonna make this a use client. A client component. I don't know why I keep saying I'm gonna make this a use client. All right, we're gonna import testimonial card, and then we're also gonna import some stuff from Swiper. We're gonna import autoplay, and that's coming from Swiper modules. And then we're gonna import Swiper, Swiper, and also Swiper slide, and that's going to be coming from Swiper / React. All right, and then we got to import. So whenever you're using Swiper.js, you got to import the CSS for it. So we just got to import Swiper / CSS, and then since we're using autoplay, you got to import the CSS for that. Import Swiper / CSS / autoplay. All right, so those are our imports. Let's scroll down here and let's start styling this up. So we're gonna have a div with the ID of testimonials and a class name of with full height of fit. So inside of the Navbar, let's see something. Did we use max auto with 91%? And for our hero section, we're gonna see something here with 91%, and then our portfolio section with 91%. Okay, so we're gonna do height fit, and then we're gonna do a PY of 20. We're gonna do position relative, and then a BG of white. Inside of this, we have a div with a class name of max width 1400 pixels and a MX of auto. And then in here, this is where we're gonna have our little section title. So div there. I'll copy this and paste it in here. I'm just going to change this to testimonials. Save that. Perfect. All right, so now it's time for our Swiper slide. So underneath this div, we're gonna have Swiper, and this is going to take a bunch of stuff. All right, so we got to do modules, and we're gonna give it autoplay. Autoplay. All right, and we got to set the autoplay now. So autoplay. We're gonna do a delay of 5 seconds, so 5,000, and speed is going to be 500. Space between, we could just do 20, and slides per view, we only want to show 1 by default. So this is a mobile first. So slides per view, we're just gonna show 1, and then class name we're gonna do with full and a BG of white. All right. So like I said, this is mobile first, so it's just gonna show 1 slide for now. We're gonna fix that here in a few. Let's go ahead and map through our testimonials. Testimonials. that map, we can testimonial, also index. And we're actually going to return a swiper slide like this. And in here, this is where we're going to have our testimonial card. Save that, and let's go ahead and send over our props here as well. So testimonial is going to equal testimonial. I feel as though I spelled this wrong a bunch of times. Like, is that when you type something so much, it just feels like you're spelling it wrong. Testimonial. All right. And the swiper slide takes some props. Actually, it just takes one. We're just gonna give it a key of index. All right, so I'm getting an error. I spelled client wrong here. Client. All right, and just let that load up. And also, since we're here, so where it says max width 1400, let's go ahead and do a width of 91%. And now let's take a look. So right now it's just showing one card. So and with Swiper.js, you can do breakpoints. So I'm gonna do breakpoints and do double brackets. So you can set the breakpoints. So I'm gonna set one at 768 pixels. So that's, I believe that's like medium screen. And I want slides per view to be 2. All right. And I'm gonna put a comma here because we're gonna do another one at 1024, which I believe is large. And I want the slides per view to be 3. Give that a save. All right, perfect. So we got 3. Nice. All right. So let's go ahead and start styling up our card. So head over to testimonial card. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to import a icon from React Icons. So we're importing MD reviews from React icon /MD. And since we're already at the top of here, let's do our interface. For our props, we're gonna do testimonial props. And we got a name, it's a string. We got work, which is a string. And then we also got review, which is a string. All right. And let's go ahead and get our props. So testimonial, do this, and then you do brackets again. And now you do testimonial, and now that is, we're gonna set the type to testimonial props. And let's make our div, and this is gonna have a class name of BG white, a pattern of 10, text black, flex call, text center, gap of 5. And a border. All right. And inside of this div, we're gonna have another div with a class name of flex and justify center. And in here is where we're gonna have our React icon MD reviews. And this is going to have a class name on here of BG block, a text yellow, 500. Pattern of 1, a text 3XL, and a rounded MD. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, perfect. Nice. Nice. All right, and right underneath this div here, this is where we're gonna have another div, and we're gonna give it a class name of flex call, and a gap of 1. And here we're gonna have span with our testimonial dot name, and we're gonna have another span with our testimonial dot work, but this span is gonna have a class name of text small and a font thin. All right, and then underneath here, actually underneath this div here, we're gonna have a p tag, and it's gonna be our testimonial dot review, and this p tag is gonna have a class name of font light. I'm gonna save that, and perfect, looks nice. And you guys can toggle around with the settings if you want, but yeah, I think this looks nice and it's responsive as well. So if we head over to inspect, as you can see, this is mobile, and if we come out, it goes to 2. Looks good there, everything still looks good. Come out, and it should be at 3 now. Perfect. All right, now it's time for our contact section, where we're going to be using email.js, and after that we'll be complete. All right, so head over to email.js.com and create an account if you don't have one. And we're using this because whenever someone submits anything to our form, we want it to be directly sent to our email. So like I said, just create an account, and I'm actually going to delete that one and start fresh. Email templates, I'm going to delete this one. So once you create an account, you should be directed to this page here, and what you need to do is we're going to add a new service, Gmail, and just click on I guess you got to click on connect account, and I'm going to connect my email. Continue. So now it's connected, and I'm gonna click on create service. Now we got this service ID, which we're gonna need, and now we need to do our template of how we want it to look whenever we receive our email. So you click on create template, and this is what it's gonna say. It's gonna say hello, and we could change this to name, or we could keep that to name actually. And I guess you gotta click on edit content code editor, or let's do design editor maybe. So we can keep that hello to name, and it says you got a message, new message from underscore name. Let's change this to name, and this is going to be the message, and we can get rid of this, just best wishes. And I'm gonna click on apply changes, and I believe that is it. So we got our template ID, we're gonna need that. I'm gonna click on save. All right, so we got our service ID, we got a template, and then inside of account we got our public key. So we're gonna need all of these keys. You don't got to keep these hidden, that's what I was told, so we don't have to put these inside of a .env file. So let's head over to docs, and we're going to click on installation, and here this is where we're going to install email.js/browser. Copy this code, head back over to our VS Code, open up our terminal, let's go ahead and paste that in there. All right, I'm going to start back up my server and refresh. So let's keep this open, because like I said, we're going to need these IDs. We can close out of this, and we're getting an email now, a test email, which is good. That means everything's connected. All right, so inside of the component folder, we're going to make 2 components. We're going to make one, it's going to be called contact.tsx, and then the next one we're going to create contact form.tsx, and we're going to import our contact component inside of our home page. So right underneath this testimonial, All right, inside of our contact page, let's start styling this up. Our contact section. I have a div ID of contact and a class name of with full height of fit, a PY of 10, position relative, and a BG gray 100. All right. And inside of this div, this is where we're gonna have our little container that we've been making. Class name, max width, 1400 pixels. Max width, 1400 pixels. And an MX of auto. And also a width of 91%. Alright. And in here we have another div with a class name of margin bottom 10. And inside this div we're gonna have an H2 with a class name of text 5XL, a font of extra bold, and a margin bottom of 5. And in here we're gonna have, it's gonna say let's, and then after, oh, that was weird, let's, and then after the let's we're gonna have a span, and inside the span it's going to say connect. Get that, right? And the span is gonna have a class name of text yellow 500. All right, so I want a space here. So to add a space, I believe you just got to do brackets and do quotes like that and add like a space. All right, perfect. So let's connect, and then it's going to say and build something like that. All right, and then after this H2, have a P tag, and it's just going to say please allow 24 to 48 hours for a response. All right, and this is going to have a class name of text small. Let's take a look. All right, we need to add a space in between here as well. So let's do brackets, empty quotes, space. Is that text 5XL? Seems like it would be bigger, but I guess not. All right, and now we're gonna render our contact form right underneath this. So we have contact form. All right, perfect. So now we can start styling up our contact form. Did we import this? Oh, we didn't import it. Contact form /contact form. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and style up our contact form now. Let me close out of this. All right, so it's going to be a use client component. Keep saying it's going to be a use client component, and we're going to import useRef, and it's going to be coming from React. Scroll down here. All right, and we're going to import use form status. That's coming from React DOM. And we also import email.js, and that should be coming from email.js/browser. All right, so inside of our contact form component, we're going to do a const form, and that's going to equal useRef null. All right, and it's going to set our type in between here. It's going to be a HTML form element, but it can be null as well. So we're gonna do null here like that. All right. And since we're using use form status, we're gonna take the structure pending. So pending is going to be equal to use form status like that. All right. And now we're about to make our send email function. I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. This is all inside of the docs on email.js. So we're going to do get an error email. Oh, what is this? We just need to do email.js. There we go. All right. So we got a constant email, and we're taking in an event, and that's the type for that is a React form event, HTML form element. And first thing we're doing is e.prevent default, and all of this is inside of the docs. So I'm about to switch some of this around because this is from my old code. So we're doing an email.send.js.send form, and this right here, the first code is going to be your service code or service ID, which I believe that is inside email service. So I'm going to copy this. So that's the service ID we just made, and I'm going to paste that here. And then we need our template ID. That's the template that we made, which is that template ID there. So click on it, head over to settings. I'm going to copy this and then paste that in here. And then the third one is just form.current. And then the last one is our public key. Copy that. And then I'm going to paste that here. All right. And then we're doing a .then, taking in the results, console login, the result.text. And then we're also resetting the form with a form.current.reset. And then we're just catching any errors. If there's an error, we just console log in the error. All right, really simple, not too much, nothing too fancy there. So now let's go ahead and start styling up our form. We can actually close out of this, keep our email open because we're gonna test this out. All right, so let's go ahead. So we have a form. I don't know why it's not auto completing. All right. Form. And we're gonna give it a ref. It's going to be form. And then we're also gonna give it an on submit, which is going to be send email. All right. And inside of this form, we're gonna have a div with a class name of grid. On medium screens, we're gonna have a grid cow2 and a gap of 10 and a margin bottom of 4. All right. So all we got to do is just do one label and one label and input, and then we can just copy the rest. So we're gonna have a label inside of this div, and HTML for this one is going to be name, and this label also going to have a class name of sr only, so screen readers only. So we're not going to even see this label. Told you I'm working on some accessibility. And name. All right, so that's the label for that one, and then we're gonna have an input in here. Type is going to be text. Let me just bring this down here like this. The type is going to be text, and we're going to make this required. We're going to give it a name, which is going to be name, and ID. It's going to be name. Placeholder is going to be name, and then the class name is going to be block with full, a height of 45 pixels, a padding of 5 pixels, text XL, the border gray 500, a margin bottom of 6, a border B, the border bottom, and focus is we're gonna have an outline of none, text gray 700, and also a BG of gray 100. All right, so let's go ahead and save that, and we're gonna take a look, make sure it looks good. All right, perfect. That's exactly what we want. We can actually, instead of focus outline none or outline, I just put outline. Let's do outline, focus outline, yellow 500. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks so much better. All right, perfect. All right, and let's go ahead and copy this label and so this input and this label. We'll copy this, and I'm gonna paste it one more time. And for this one, it's going to be email. The type is going to be email. Required name, email, ID, email, and then placeholder, email. Save that. Perfect. All right, and now we just need our text area. So right underneath this div here, we're gonna have another div with a class name of margin bottom 4, and this one is going to have a label as well. Copy that, but the label for this one is going to say your message, like that. I don't know if we changed the HTML for this one, so HTML4 is going to be email. So these are just for screen readers. HTML for this one is going to be message. All right. And now we need to do our text area. Let's see. So right underneath this label, we're gonna have text area like this. And for the name, just fix all this up. For the name, it's going to be message. ID, message. The column we don't need, however, we will be using rows, but you can't put it in like that. You gotta do brackets, and we're gonna be doing 6. And for the class name, actually let's do a placeholder as well. It's going to be your message. And then class name, we can actually copy over this class name and just switch up some stuff. Just copy over this, paste that in there, and let's just see how it looks for now. We might gotta switch up some stuff. All right, as you can see, it's not, so there's a little trick to that. All you gotta do is, instead of this height 45 pixels, we're gonna change this to height auto, because we got this row set to 6. So it should expand that bigger. There we go. Perfect. And that's exactly what we want. Nice. All right, so now we need our button, submit button. So right underneath this div, I have a button. And this button is going to have a class name of BG yellow 500, a PY of 2, a PX of 4, a rounded MD, and also a font bold. All right, and this is just going to say submit. All right, and we need to add an ARIA label. It's going to say submit. submit. And we also going to have a disabled equals pending. So whenever the form is submitting, if you got a slow connection or a slow computer like mine, it'll disable the button so it won't submit multiple times. All right, so with that, we can actually test this out and hopefully we get an email to our email. So I'm gonna type in my name, which is Antonio Rogers. My email, I'm gonna type in test@gmail.com. And my message is gonna say, "You're awesome. You're awesome." Submit. All right, it clears the form. It didn't refresh the page. That's exactly what we want. And now let's check our email and we got it. Perfect. Hello, you got a message from Antonio Rogers. You're awesome. Perfect. Nice. So it works perfectly. We can close out of this now. And now we just got to do our footer. That should be, it's really easy footer. Let's head over to our components and we're just gonna make a footer.tsx and just go ahead and complete this and then we'll import it inside of our layout. We have a footer. This is gonna have a class name of pattern of 10, BG of grade 100, position relative, a border top, and let's save that. And inside this footer, we're gonna have a div with a class name of max width 1400 pixels, index of auto, and also a width of 91%. If we wanted to, we could have made this into, because we use this in almost every component, we could have just made this reusable, but we didn't. So we're gonna do a p tag and do a class name of text center. And here I'm just gonna type in like this little copyright thing in here. Let's paste it in there. Copyright icon 2024, all rights reserved by me. All right, save that, and that is the footer. Close out of that, head over to our layout, and we're going to import that right underneath our children. Footer, come on, man. I don't know why it's taking so long to import. Import footer. Components / footer. All right, save that. All right, the footer looks nice. So if you guys want to stick around, I will be doing a Photoshop tutorial on how to get the images, your hero image looking like this one, because obviously you don't want me on your portfolio site. And yeah, so stick around and let's go do that. So welcome to the Photoshop section of this tutorial. So obviously you want to have Photoshop open, and we're gonna have our browser open, and we inside of the public folder that you guys downloaded of the images, you should have this shape, and also have a nice image of yourself, because we're going to remove the background from it and try to make this look nice. So we got the shape that we use for our project there. So I'm going to minimize that and click on create new inside Photoshop, and you can probably just do 500 by 500 or maybe 1000 by 1000. Create that. We got that there, and let's go ahead and open up our browser. And here we're going to go to, just on Google, type in remove.bg, and here we're going to go ahead and upload our image without the background removed. Drag it up in there, and it should remove the background. This website is just magic. I love it. And we just download it. If you guys want, you can sign up and you get download the HD version, but to be honest, the regular version, it still looks nice. We got that downloaded. I'm gonna drag that over here. All right, and I'm actually going to minimize it some. Right there, I believe it's good. All right, perfect. And now we're gonna take our shape, drag my shape in there, and you want to position this as well. And position this a little bit over the head, like right there, I believe looks good. And then we're gonna drag our image over top of our shape, so like that. All right, and don't worry about any of the of the edges. All of this should be blocked. We can make our image a little bit bigger if we want, so like right there. Maybe that looks good. All right, just try to position it the best you can, but just try to make sure your head is outside of the box. It gives that nice little 3D effect. All right, so we got our image and we got our shape. So what we want to do now is click on our image. We're going to right click. We're going to right click and we're going to add, or where is it? We're going to create clipping mask. All right, so now we're inside the shape. And here, as you can see, I didn't position this right. You can see like the bottom of this here. So we can actually increase the size of our image to like right there. All right. And now what we're gonna do is duplicate this, duplicate the layer, and we're going to release clipping mask. All right, so we're back to step 1. So we're gonna click on our shape. We can actually remove the background as well. We're gonna click on our shape, and we're going to click on Control, and make sure you click on the image, the layer thumbnail. So right here, we'll click on that, and it should highlight the shape behind us. And then we're going to click on our image. So just click on it, the layer, and now we're going to click on this Add Layer Mask. And now we're back to this. And now we're going to hit over and click on our eraser tool here, and make sure that these like 2 colors here is set to white, like that. And make sure that the top layer is selected, and all we got to do is just erase the top of our head like that. It gives that nice little 3D look. And you can crop this. What I really recommend doing is cropping this and just making it perfect, so whenever you use it for your hero section, you know, it won't take up that extra space. All right, and we can just click on crop, and then there we go. So we have our image. So hopefully yours turned out well. Please link me to your GitHubs in the description. I really want to see how you guys turned out with this. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Pretty long one. Tune in for my next videos. I'm working on a full stack job posting website. We're gonna learn a lot about server actions in that one. So yeah, tune into that video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Peace.